Hey, what's up everybody? Bdf 44 coming at you with another video. Alright, so headed to go see Lydia. Got an appointment with her. They called me yesterday and reminded me of that. I had completely forgotten about it, but luckily enough I was able to answer the phone and catch that. So it's at 3 o'clock. It's like 1:15 now, so I feel like I'll be on time, probably waiting around if I get there as I would expect to. Probably be there 30 minutes early, but that's okay. Ready to get some exercise. This hamstring, I don't know if it's a hamstring, glute, I don't know what type of injury this is, but it's still giving me trouble. But I'm still able to do everything I need to do just the same, but it's not healing very fast. I don't know if that's because I keep aggravating it stretching, which is probably the case, or it's old and it's harder to recover when you're old. But I can definitely feel it, man. I can definitely feel it. So we'll see how I do today with all this walking and stair climbing and stuff like that. Last time I went to see Lydia's, I didn't have this injury. And so we're gonna test it on these stairs. Because as y'all know, I never take escalators. And I haven't been out as much because these damn Lakers been playing early and Bible study. So it's been keeping me from getting out over these last several days. So yeah, I don't expect it to be too much of a problem, to be honest with you. So yeah, man, I feel pretty good though. Feeling good as far as the weather is concerned. It's only like 80 degrees, maybe 81. So we definitely happy it calmed down from what it was last week. Every day was like 97, 96 degrees. And so we're gonna hover around the 80s for a little bit, and then from what I understand, it's gonna drop to like 66. So that's gonna be very interesting, just to see the ebbs and flows of this weather. Yeah, man. I've been in a basketball mood lately, paying attention to my interest there, learning about these prospects and stuff like that for this draft that's coming up in June. Decided to do a little homework early, so been paying a lot of attention to that. Yeah, man, did a couple art pieces before I left the house just now. Since I had a little idle time after breakfast, decided to just do that for like 20 minutes, nothing too serious. They were okay pieces, nothing to cry home about, but it was good to do that. And yeah, man, just maintaining, pushing myself in the ways that I do with my exercise every day, continuing to add to what it is I'm doing, injured or not, you know what I mean? Just nothing changes in regards to my intentions toward my physical practices. So, you know, I mean, everything is pretty much stable. You know, been praying a lot, asking the Lord to help me with some things, and you know, hopefully getting those things done, whatever it is that that needs to be done. You know, over the next several months, see the progress that I'm hoping to see in my life. So yeah, man, nothing too major to report on my end. You know, so the thing about it is, there's a lot of stuff going on in the world, and I promise you I'm paying attention to it, but when I'm walking down the street right now, I don't have any of that stuff in my head. That's the problem. Like, as much of Tucker Carlson and Candace Owens and Instagram and all these different people I've been paying attention to, I've been listening to more of these people than I ever have in my life, man. Paying attention to independent media more than I ever have in my life. But for whatever reason, all the conversations and all the talking points that I usually had talking to you guys walking down the street, they just ain't coming up, man. It's like it's going in one ear and out the other. I think for me, I'm just so frustrated with just the entire fullness of how things have been going in this world for the last 3 years, and I've predicted so much of it correctly, to now all I'm really hearing is people more or less stating what it is I've already been talking about for the last 3 years, but bringing evidence to prove that my speculation was accurate. And so it's like, yeah, there's a few details I'm paying attention to, but a lot of these behaviors that are taking place, it's like I'm already past being shocked. I'm already past expecting otherwise. I'm not confused about these people being on the up and up, or about this being some spiritual warfare, or about how low they'll go with all of this, or about how the good guys are now faced with the idea of having to either dig in the muck with these demons in order to effectively defeat them, or whether or not they want to uphold their integrity and trust that a higher power will find a better way. It's a lot of that going on. And so for me, it's like, when you get into the nitty-gritty and the details of what's happening out there, compromised individuals continuing to stand on the talking points that Israel gives them to protect their sexual secrets from coming out. I'm just at a point where it's like, yo, we've already identified all of this. And now it's just kind of being talked about on a massive scale. So I would be lying to you if I said anything that I'm seeing is surprising me. And they're bombing children, not surprising. The situation going on in Cuba, I guess that's one I can speak of. So from what I understand, of course, as I've been telling you guys for the last 3 weeks, what's going on in Cuba is that America was trying to stranglehold Cuba, essentially, saying, yo, if you don't do what it is I say, I'm gonna make it so that you don't have any power. For whatever reason, we're in position to do that. Take away their oil, stuff like that, to assure that their people don't have what they need to power their country. And I told you that was coming, and I told you that your media wasn't talking about it, and it was something we need to pay attention to. I said that, 3 weeks ago? Well, now the stuff has hit the fan, and you're seeing flotilla missions going over there to bring stuff. From what I understand, there was a rumor that China was trying to bring some rice over there. I don't know if they were effective in doing that or not. But, people are trying to come to the aid of Cuba. But unfortunately, a hospital about 3 nights ago, from what I understand, literally everybody who was on a defibrillator, I believe it was, if it's not the defibrillator, some type of a machine that keeps you alive, all of the people in the hospital died. Everyone who was attached to the machine, whose life was dependent on them staying attached to a machine, died. In an entire hospital. Because they didn't have the power. The power wasn't on, so of course the people were gonna die. And you understand that we were in a position to prevent it from happening, but that's collateral damage for what this administration was trying to accomplish in Cuba. It's like, man, I would love to say I'm surprised by this, but if you're paying attention to what was going on in Gaza, you already seen them do this to kids in incubators. You know how they attack hospitals. You know how comfortable they are with killing the innocent and those who are sick, and bombing cancer treatment places. From what I understand, very recently they bombed a rehab center in Iran. A rehab center. Like this is the type of stuff that we've seen Israel/USA do. There ain't no separation at this point. There's no separation. That's what I want to say. Like, when I say they, and I'm referring to USA, it's already a foregone conclusion, if you've been following me, that I'm talking about Israel. There's nothing keeping me from believing that Netanyahu and Donald Trump are pretty much moving the same way. They're the only real allies they have with one another. The only two allies these countries actually have left with one another. It's them two versus the world, basically. And so, as they move together, they continue to do things that Israel does. Israel harms the innocent. That's what they do. They take a great deal of pleasure in harming innocent people and harming people who are already suffering. They relish in the idea of suffering. This is a psychological display that they have engaged in throughout the course of this genocide and into other things that they're handling right now. So in Lebanon, of course, they're doing all types of evil stuff, killing the hell out of people and stuff. It's just like, this is what they do. So if I see this behavior done by America pointing in a different direction, if I see that same behavior being pointed at someone else in regards to Israel, then I just know who's doing it. It's the same Zionist entity doing the same things that they've always done since the beginning of this genocide, or probably before we even were aware of it. So that's what I see. It's just more of the same cruel, unusual, collective punishment displayed by these devil worshippers, man. Engaging in ridiculousness and being angry at anybody for calling it out. You know, using whatever power they have to initiate these behaviors, and then from there silencing anybody who would dare point it out. And they use the same talking points to try to wear you down, you know, using the psychological warfare tactics and trying to confuse and frustrate and lying to you and all of that different stuff. And you can clearly see they lying. And you just sit up here and you just find yourself like befuddled at just how ridiculous all of it is. And they just keep on pushing forward and giggle it off. And, you know, that's kind of how that goes. And so this is more of the same, man. Donald Trump essentially appears to not have a plan in regards to Iran, but the reality is the plan is to throw our country under the bus for the sake of Israel. That's what it is. And if you keep that in the forefront of your mind, then none of this is really all that surprising. None of this is really, you know, otherwise what should be expected. He's not afforded the right to place his country ahead of Israel based on what it is that the circumstances are behind the scenes. That's what I've gathered. He's not afforded the right to make decisions. He's not. He has to do whatever Israel say. All right, that's what it is. He has whatever they say, and Israel's intention is to push forward the Greater Israel Project, not to keep the Americas upright in any way. They don't care anything about us. If anything, they don't like us very much. They just put up with us because they need us. We are actually who they are in competition with for strongest power in the world. But for now, while they have control of our government, while they have a bunch of people locked down, and while they have the stranglehold on the government, we're an extremely necessary and useful weapon to push forth their agenda. But they really look down on us, to be honest with you. And so for people who are still wondering why the human beings are not being treated properly in this country, why they're sending ICE agents out to beat the hell out of everybody and anybody or whatever, it's because they literally don't care about Americans. They don't care. They do not care about you. In fact, they prefer you not be pleased with your life because you're goys and because you think you're better than they believe you are. And so, like, when you look at things from through that lens, all of the stuff that's happening to our country and everything that they've been doing, pretending like we're aligned with it, makes all the sense in the world. And they're gonna do a lot more of it. And so it's all legitimately evil behaviors and wickedness on display at all times, man. At all times. There's no ifs, ands, or maybe about that at this point. We've been speculating about it for months and years at this point, but where we are is where I thought we would be. Seeing them continue to just be evil, man. You know, there was a guy, from what I understand, I don't remember what his name was at this point, but he was part of the American intelligence, and he recently resigned, stating that there was never any threat from Israel at all. Based on his extended intelligence, he was essentially telling everybody, there's no reason for us to have been active in attacking this country. They didn't pose any threat. And so he had to resign based on that being the case, and not agreeing with the idea that we're sending our soldiers, of whom he also was once himself, out to die for what is otherwise unnecessary cause, in his opinion. And so, of course, they're going after this guy discrediting him, investigating him. So he also mentioned something about how they tried to silence him and others in his organization, in his neck of the woods or whatever, from investigating the Charlie Kirk murder. He said there was more to look at, and they were basically muzzled in regards to investigating that murder. There was other things, questions unanswered, and essentially he was told that he did no longer was given the authority to investigate that evidence. And so, like, these type of things, it's just like not surprising at all to me. Not surprising, but fitting for what it is we've been talking about, because we knew that there would be people who would eventually want to turn on this administration/Israel connection. There are going to be people on the inside who are going to realize that it doesn't necessarily benefit them to stay on this ride anymore. All of what it is they believed in, all of what it is they were fighting for, it's no longer in play. This country is not the priority of its government. So if you're a gung-ho America First person, this ain't for you. This is what speaks to my prediction/theory that quote-unquote American white supremacy is eventually going to have to go to war with Zionist supremacy, eventually. Because they don't have the same interests. One is being blackmailed by the other, and both of them think they're supposed to be the center of the universe. And if I know anything about white supremacy in America, it's only but so long they're going to allow you to keep them under control before they crash out. This is what I know. And this individual that I'm referring to, that's exactly what he represents. He is an imperialist, American first agenda guy. He cares to kill anything that messes with America's ability to be first. He don't care, he's not a citizen of the world. He's not what you would consider a good guy. He's an American imperialist warrior. So if you tell him it'll benefit America to kill 1 million kids, he will push the button, kill 1 million kids. But it's about benefiting America. You see what I'm saying? That's the thing about this type of guy. If it's not benefiting this land and this colonial project, he's not with it. And essentially what he's become aware of is the idea that that's not what this government is trying to do. They're interested in building a different power in the Middle East, the Greater Israel Project, Pax Judaica as they call it, and ultimately puts his America in the back burner somewhere, and that's not something he can go along with. I tell you, as a person of color, I will never align with that bullshit. I'll never align with either of those. It's white supremacy, evil, both sides of it. It just is. It's just the same old white supremacist devil, just on different sides of the coin. It really is. As a black person and a person of Native American descent, and as a person of Caucasian descent, I can legitimately tell you, it ain't nothing but some white supremacy. That's all that is, bro. Two different legs of the same demon at odds with one another because they're trying to vie for different lands and position. My land's more important than your land. My white's more important than your white. My religion is more important than your religion. I stand behind Christianity and do the devil's work. You stand behind Judaism and do the devil's work. I'm a proud white person. You're a proud Jewish person that doesn't want to be white necessarily because that's beneath you. You'd rather be Jewish. It's still the same old European bullshit, y'all. I'm just being honest with you. Both of these people are in denial about who they actually are. Who you are is a European. You're from Europe. You are a colonizer who stole, raped, pillaged, maimed, lied your way to everything you got. Both of you. And the world will be much better if you wipe one another out. And leave the people who don't want to step on one another, who can walk amongst one another without being offended by the presence of one another, left to build up this world. That's what really is best for this world, man. And neither one of these two sides of white supremacy will acknowledge that they are the same demon. That's what's so unique to this conversation. The Jews don't want to admit that they ain't no different than these KKK whites. And these KKK whites don't want to admit that they're the exact same demon as these damn Jews. It's the same shit. And as a black person, I'm tired of being nice about it and stepping over toes. Oh, not those people, not quite them. I don't give a shit about none of that at this point, because I didn't watch y'all kill children in multiple countries. I didn't watch y'all kill my own people in multiple different facets of them. I no longer want to give love to that for which has done this in the world. Y'all some evil people, bro. Y'all been evil. Y'all been doing things on behalf of the devil. And y'all gonna have to face that reality. It just is what it is. And you don't want to admit it because you're like standing behind these religious, the religions that have to do with the God of Abraham, but y'all don't really follow the God of Abraham on none of the things that he actually wants us all as a collective to do. You're about building power through force and satisfying your own ambitions by any means. That's all it's ever been about. It's not about anything other than that. You're not serving God, you are serving self. And there ain't enough Bibles or whatever the heck y'all talking about to make up for it. It ain't enough whatever your book is to make up for it. This is what it is. And y'all constantly make excuses for one another, and that's your business. If that's what you want to do, you live and die on what it is you live and die on. But at this point, the people of color in this world, I believe it's time for us to stop being nice about how we feel and stop tiptoeing around people in any. It's not time for that anymore, because they're continuing to do the same evil things that leave us in forever wars. And the people that usually die in them forever wars are people that had nothing at all to do with any of these decisions. We didn't vote for this shit. We didn't want to be a part of this shit. We don't align with this shit at all. And they keep putting us in these positions to die for them. And they threaten to kill innocent people to settle their differences. People who ain't got nothing at all to do with any of these decisions. People who are behaving in a way that doesn't bring any threat to those people. That's the part that really is what I think is going to change. That part is going to change. And you can already see that beginning with this Luigi guy. That's more of what they can expect, man. Because at this point, people are being thrown away. And we're still behaving like being good toward them is going to yield us some type of mercy or benefit or something. Paying into what it is they got going on is still going to be the way for us to secure the futures of our children in this land. When at this point, it's very obvious this land is being thrown under the bus and eventually will be taken over by individuals who believe they're greater than us. Not because they were given anything by God, but because they are ruthless, unapologetically ruthless. And that's what they stand on. Not anything having to do with God. But their willingness to be evil at all times and willing to sacrifice whatever necessary, including you and I, to accomplish whatever their goals are. And as long as that's the mentality, behaving the way they want you to behave only plays into their hands. And so we're faced with the idea that we, just like I said in regards to those who are being provoked on high, the people are placed in that same position. Do we crash out on these individuals who are doing this to us, come in droves and find them and pull them out of their places of comfort? Or do we continue to behave the way they want us to? Hey, buddy, what's up, son? How you doing? and find ourselves continuing to be pawns in their game as they continue to knock us off the board, knock entire families off the board if it benefits what it is they're trying to do or satisfies their hunger for blood. Because that's what they've done to the Palestinian people. They wiped entire families off the board. 70 people out of a family gone, using billions of dollars of weaponry to destroy people who don't even have as much as a gun to fire at them. Like, this is the type of stuff that's going on. People who don't have enough money to buy a gun to fire at them, they're using billions of dollars of weapons on. But see, the science on that is changing from what it is I'm paying attention to. What the world is starting to show me is that they found a way, and I'm seeing this in multiple places, and it's coming together to form a certain picture. But they found a way to change the game on the billionaire. See, the billionaire's intention, the trillionaire, whatever superpower's intention, is to use massive amounts of stolen money to accomplish his goals. Gather that amount and use it. What the world is finding out a way to do is be extremely more cost efficient in matching the productivity that the billionaire is providing. They are finding a more cost-effective way to build roads in Burkina Faso, where the people are coming together and building efficient, smooth, beautiful roads at little to no cost at all in comparison to what it takes to pave a road in this country and in Western world countries. You're seeing Iran use more cost-effective weapons that are effectively or ineffectively at this point being taken down by expensive defense weaponry. For every bomb that we toss up that costs $1 billion, they throw like 100 bombs up that cost a tenth of that. That type of cost-effective energy. And if that keeps on piling up, coupled with us continuing to be more or less lose our representation, our reputation as good business people with all these horrible practices, if that keeps up, there's going to be a massive loss taken to the imperialist regime, in a sense that it's not nearly going to cost as much to fight them anymore. It's not going to cost as much to build, so they're not going to hire Western people because they don't need to. You want to do the work for $16 an hour, they can get the job done for 50 cents an hour. That type of thing is what the world is figuring out how to do. And it's leaving us and all our money essentially, potentially out of the game. You know, as we once said, you know, if you're the type of person who doesn't have a great deal of money, but you try to go to a poker table with a wealthy person, you're going to be out of money very fast and in the red rather quickly. Well, they have turned that game upside down. Essentially, those who have the most money are no longer going to be in the game in a lot of cases, because the only people going to be willing to do business are people who are doing business with one another on a cost-effective, low-level rate, and they're using higher quality stuff because they're sharing amongst one another, while it's just us and Israel and all of our money with no allies. The idea of trade and smarter and efficient, cost-effective business is going to be prioritized over boatloads of wealth, because it doesn't require boatloads of wealth to accomplish great things in the world. It seems like the way the world is trying to go. They're going to phase the big man out of the game. The big wealthy dude. Why the hell do I need $6 billion where I don't need to spend more than $600 to accomplish anything? All that shit you're doing to compromise myself and my people, and using wealth as a means of trying to get me in your pocket, in a world where it only costs 50 cents to buy a house, your $1 trillion plans no longer necessarily fit in that world. You come to me telling me you're going to give me $1 million if I keep quiet about what it is that my my conscience would otherwise tell me is no good, now I'm not as likely to take that bribe because it's not required that I need that much money to accomplish big goals. And furthermore, I'm going to be shunned by this environment of people who are accomplishing certain things without that amount of money necessary. Big things being accomplished on trade and merit and good reputation. It's going to be about, can you get in the room by these measures? Because you can't buy your way into this room. Now, I could be wrong about this. This could very well be wrong. Everything I'm looking at could not be what it is that I see here. But I'm sensing that the world is trying to find a way to phase this whale out of the game. Phase him out. If he can't get in the room off his reputation and his good word, he's not going to be able to play this game with us. We're going to keep him outside. And he's going to have to use his wealth to try to force his way into the room. And all he's going to find is a bunch of people that are shunning him and giving him the finger and don't want to sit with him. That's what I think this is shaping up to be. That's what it looks like. It's starting to look that way to me. Maybe I'm wrong. More always equals more at the end of the day. If I got enough, I should be able to do enough. But if you phase out the need for more and insert the need for other things in order to make it so that people work with you, it can be significantly more difficult to do really what you need to do, if not for the presence of having those things. And so if the world is moving in that direction, then it's going to be extremely hard for the Zionists to continue to control things, because eventually all of his bribe tactics ain't going to work. Giving people this money, that money, that money. If you find yourself attached to these people, automatically you're going to be disqualified from certain conversations. And that's what I think this is headed. That's exactly what I think this is headed. And this country especially, not a good portion of people understand what's going on with this government and how they compromised. If you're taking money from any of these PACs, chances are you're going to lose whatever election you're in. So it's going to be a bad investment for people to invest in you through those PACs. You better find another way to get to that money, or you better stay out of the way. That's going to be what it's going to be, I think, going forward. I don't know how long it's going to take for that, but I think we've gotten to a point where a good portion of people are now aware of the PAC money conversation. And it ain't just a PAC, it's a bunch of PACs. They got 1 million PACs that they're robbing and buying our government with. And people are spreading the word, essentially saying, yo, I don't care what you're promising. If you're attached to them, I automatically know that you're no good, and I'm keeping you out of the room. That's where it's headed. You got to prove to me that you value this land, this version of white supremacy, over Jewish version of white supremacy, or else people ain't gonna vote you in. That's what it's gonna be. That's exactly what this is about to be. And I don't care how much money Israel is trying to funnel you through these PACs. If we see you taking a coin from these PACs, we leaving you outside. You ain't gonna get that seat. You're gonna have to rig elections, and it's gonna be very obvious you did. That's gonna be what it is. So I think this is one way, one natural and organic way that the earth can purge this evil out of its lands, is by doing these type of things. Doing these type of things. And it ain't just about boycotting. It's about shifting what's a priority in regards to what we need to accomplish our goals, and then from there, what is likely going to be defined as temptation going forward. And since they want to use wealth and sexual nonsense as temptation, you got to remove those rugs from underneath those circumstances to expose that, and then from there make it so that it's not as natural to take those bribes or be compromised in that way. And it's something that we talked about. This is something that we talked about very briefly on this channel. But as far as this weird sexual stuff, this weird sexual stuff that's keeping all of this locked in, it's gonna be a facet of individuals who are gonna say, yes, these things are horrific, and the people who are engaging in these behaviors deserve the most capital of punishments. But due to the presence of being compromised by way of this energy being utilized against our government officials and against various different individuals of power, there's going to have to be something in place that provides a grace to provide us, the people, a leverage against the nature of that compromised environment. It's not what we prefer, but it may be the only way out from under this for our country and for the world's environments and government. You might have to forgive some people some awful things, man, and make it very clear that you do, so that it can't continue to be used to control your government. It can continue to be used as a means of compromising people to the ends of the earth. They're throwing your whole country down the road just to keep some secrets quiet. At some point in time, the environment around needs to look around and say, yo, these secrets, we're losing more. We're losing more by being heavily condemning of these secrets, so to speak. Talk about lesser of two evils. People want to vote for one guy or the other gal or whatever. This becomes a conversation of really lesser of two evils. What do you prefer? Forgiving some sicko at all the evils that he's done? Or allowing that sicko to have us so damn compromised that people are using atomic bombs on our heads? It might be a matter of survival at this point, y'all. And it's not the first time I've said this or thought this. But if Donald Trump was forgiven of everything he did in that regard, if he was given the grand immunity for everything he did, so long as he gives us everything that Israel has on him, is there a world where we take our country back? And if so, is that not the lesser of two evils? I use a very loose analogy that really don't have much to do with much other than to paint a picture. We are all in a space where, in this society, we don't allow people to wear green. Just example. We don't mess with green. We don't like green. Green reminds us of the grand, horrible thing that happened in the past that we all suffered from, that we still have generational curses in regards to. Okay, just play with along with this, please. Somebody put on green they weren't supposed to. Some evil entity found out about them wearing that green and told them, look, you got to do all this evil stuff for me, or I'm going to tell all these people you wore green. In the name of all that is over his head, all that stress that comes down on his head, worried about us finding out that he wore green, he allows his blackmailer to destroy us all. Wouldn't it just be a bit more reasonable for the environment itself, the people themselves, the society themselves, to just not be so staunch against the color green anymore? Like, the color green is horrible. Okay, we are hurt by it. But we're going to go through a lot more trauma than whatever it is we went through when wearing the color green back in the day, for this compromised, blackmailed person allowing these evil intentions that are done by our enemy to get into our midst. Wouldn't it just be easier for us to just say, yo, we accept anybody who wears green? Now what do they have on him? They don't have nothing on him. We don't care that he wore green. We more interested in you getting the hell out of the room and not being able to blackmail him into spaces where we're facing more trauma than we are concerned about him wearing green. Him wearing green is not nearly as bad as what you were trying to do through him by way of that blackmail. Just saying. Very simple example. But it is really the math that I'm looking at here, man. That's the math. And I'm not ready to forgive sex sickos. I'm not ready to forgive monsters. But if my unwillingness to forgive monsters is what the blackmailer is banking on, then this is chestnut checkers. This is chestnut checkers. I gotta do what I gotta do for survival. Israel is counting on us going absolutely loco about whatever Donald Trump has done and whatever these people that they have blackmailed have done. If that information comes out, they're in an environment where they get stoned, thrown to jail forever, shamed forever, all that. Unacceptable. They'll throw us under the bus to ensure that don't happen. All that, right? What if we just say, nah, we're not all offended by what he did at all. We're cool with what he did. Now what do they have on him? Now what do they have on him? This is what we're faced with, unfortunately. This is what we're faced with. And our inability to identify that properly will secure the stability of the blackmail itself. And wherever that leads us, it will leave us. And I'm telling y'all, I feel like Israel is ready to throw America completely away. They're gonna throw us, when I say completely away, bomb this thing to Gaza style, man. Hell, bro. Everything in the midst. Just leveled. Destroying our water levees. Destroying our ability to do really anything. Turning off the lights in this place. Sending us to the Stone Ages. That's how evil these people have already proven themselves to be. And let me tell you something. I'm gonna say this, and I think it's understood by a good portion of people, but I think it needs to be verbalized somewhere. Israel has made it very clear that Iran is a threat, not because it threatened Israel, but because it stood still in existence with all of the power that it has. It didn't have to do anything but exist as powerful as it is in order to be a threat to the country known as is. So that means any country that has a certain amount of power, whether they're intentional on using that power or not, is a threat to this country. It's a threat. Not necessarily for any other reason than the people who are trying to control this world need to be the only powerful entity in the room. They need to be the only ones in the room as powerful as they are. The only ones. So America, do you not see what this actually is? You are a much bigger threat. Even if you're not threatening anyone. Because by way of this logic, your power is a threat. That it is in existence is the threat. That's what I want people to understand. That's what America needs to understand. While you're trying to do business with Israel and thinking they're going to share something with you, the devil don't share shit. Don't be an idiot. Oh, once we build up greater Israel, then America and Israel are going to be the superpowers in the world. Nah, fool. This is going to be like one of those movies where a guy does a robbery with another guy, and then when it's time to split the money, one guy shoots the other guy. That's exactly what this is. He ain't about to share shit. Don't be a fool, man. Israel ain't about to share shit with America. When they build what they build and they have their leverage against us, they're going to destroy this thing because they see it as a threat. They see it as a threat, man. And I'm telling you, you don't have karma on your side because you stole it from someone else. You did evil things to build this thing. So you don't have God on your side when faced with this conundrum. And that's what we as citizens need to be prepared for, man. Because you did this thing that you did to all of these people of color in the name of trying to build up your America. And now you're faced with something that's trying to coerce you into trusting it. It will use you up to build what it's trying to build, and it's going to shoot you in the head when you're not looking. That's exactly what it is prone to do, and it's exactly what you've allowed yourself spiritually to be open to have happen to you, because you did not make right what you did wrong. I've been right about a lot of things. A few things I believe I've been wrong. This, I am not wrong about, man. Not at all. Y'all gotta be ready for this shit. Israel ain't sharing anything with you. When it builds its superpower in the Middle East, it is not gonna look at you as anything more than a threat. You're not an ally. You're not a superpower that helped build this thing, and we're so thankful for you, and we're going to move hand in hand in unison. These people are proving to be habitual, strategic liars. They lie. They lie about everything. They will lie to you. They lie to themselves. They'll lie to anybody who will listen. They lie. So whatever plans they told you and the promises they made, those are lies too. Whatever they said they're going to do, whatever they promised you, whatever they said they need you for past Pax Judaica being built up, lies. They don't see the world the way that you need them to in order for them to effectively keep their end of the bargain. They're not going to do it. They're not going to do it. If you want to survive Israel, America's going to have to turn on Israel before Israel turns on America. And the first thing we need to do is get those individuals who are too compromised to do so out of the way. You got to cleanse yourself of those who would never turn on Israel for reasons of their own out of the picture. That's the reality of it. And if we fail to cleanse ourselves of these people, if we don't get them out of this shit that we have, our fate is sealed, man. Their behavior is patterned. We already know what they do. We know what they think. We know what they like to do. We know how they move. They kill children. They kill elderly. They kill sick people. They target through psychological warfare. They lie. They confuse. They gaslight. They control things. They control people. This is not behavior we have not seen a pattern of at this point. So, like, for me, again, I'm not here to be nice anymore, man. I don't care about that anymore because I don't think we can afford to be. I don't think America can afford to be. I don't think people of color can afford to be anywhere on this earth confused or naive in regards to this entity, man. It is already set. The patterns of behavior are already set. Either you're looking or you're ignoring it and about to be run over by it, its next victim or what have you. Ain't gonna be surprised by anything they do. Never again, because I've already seen everything they intend to do. I've already seen it. Greater scale, smaller scale, this is the same steps, man. It's the same way of going. It's what they're going to do going forward. And I'm telling y'all, believing otherwise at this point, in my opinion, is highly, highly stupid, man. It's really, really dumb. And I don't think America can afford to be dumb anymore. in regards to these folks. I don't believe people of color anywhere in the world can afford to be dumb in regards to these folks. I don't think we can afford to behave the way they want us to behave or any of those things, man. They're going to continue to behave the way they've been behaving until it's over.
Helping our community by giving away free phones. By chance, do you have to qualify for EBT or Medi-Cal?
I do, but I already have one, brother.
All right, have a good one.
You too, man. And that's what I'm trying to tell people, man. We can't afford it. As black people, we can't afford it, man. As people of color, black, Mexican people, brown people, whatever your thing is, we can't afford it, y'all. We can't afford to be stupid. We can't afford to be naive. We can't afford to pretend we don't see the patterns. We can't afford to not identify said patterns. Can't afford it. People of the Orient, we can't afford it. You understand what I'm saying to you? You can't. Trying to do business with them, you better know what they value first. When you're trying to be aligned with them, you better know what they value over human life. You think they're going to keep their word? You better identify that they lie habitually, consistently, strategically, spiritually, are bound to these strategies of lying. It's like expecting anything else is stupid and it's dangerous at this point. So, that's what I have to say, man. God bless everybody. Bdf 44, thank y'all for watching. I'm out.